to day 2 of the Holly Jolly Card Series 2014. Today I am going to be featuring Fawn products, and the stamp set I'm going to be focusing on today is Snow Day. This is just an adorable bunny stamp set, and it also has coordinating die cuts. Be sure to visit my blog at the end of this video because you can win one stamp set and one 6x6 paper pad from Fawn of your choice. The only thing you have to do is leave a comment on the blog post of this video. So there will be a direct link in my video description, so you can check that out and then you can leave a comment on my blog. Today I'm going to be starting out with a piece of a white cardstock. This just measures 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch, and I'm going to cut it a tiny bit smaller. I'm going to cut it to about, let's see, 2 inch wide by just 5.5 long. I'm going to be keeping my paper horizontal, and I'm going to use the coordinating die cuts from the Snow Day stamp set from Fawn. Today I'm going to be doing some partial die cutting. I've seen many videos on this technique by Jennifer McGuire as well, so I just decided to try it out. Okay, so I just decided to take a piece that is slightly larger. This measures probably about, well, 2 1/4 inch. Yeah, I think so. So I'm going to use these die cuts and I'm going to line them up. So I'm going to line everything up with the trunk of this tree. So this will be my guide. So I'm going to take my T-square ruler and then I'm going to draw a pencil line. So I'm going to temporarily tape down these die cuts using some washi tape. Okay, so now I'm going to do the partial die cutting. Now I don't want this to cut all the way through because otherwise you would just have a regular die cut. So I'm going to draw some more pencil marks. So let's say I'm going to die cut about over here. So I'm drawing another pencil line. Just like this. So this pencil line over here is my guide to die cut these images. Okay, so over here I have my die cutting machine, my Big Shot, and I'm going to line everything up with these dies. So I'm just going to take my paper and I'm going to line it up with my cutting board or your cutting plate, just like this. Also going to tape this down using some washi tape, and I'm going to check if it's all lined up perfectly using my T-square ruler. Okay, so now I'm going to put my other cutting plate on top, and then I'm just going to run that through. There we go. So I'm just going to remove all of the washi tape. Okay, so that looks great. So now you can cut on this line using an X-Acto knife, but you can also use your paper trimmer. I'm going to use my paper trimmer for this. First, I'm going to carefully erase those pencil marks. Or just, I'm only going to erase a pencil mark that I used to line up my dies, but I'm going to use this pencil mark over here because this is my guide for the cutting part. So my paper trimmer from Fiskars works great with this because you can line everything up with the wire over here. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm just going to line this wire up with my pencil mark. And also with the little blade, just like this, and then I'm going to cut, and then you can see that the pieces are coming apart, so it's very easy. But you can also use your X-Acto knife for this if you would feel more comfortable using that instead. There we go. So I didn't cut all the way through because I was afraid to cut in the die cuts or the images. So I'm just going to use my scissors today. And I'm carefully going to cut along that line. There we go. And as you can see, this looks super. So now I'm going to stamp the coordinating stamps from the Snow Day stamp set. And I'm going to ink up these images using Memento Tuxedo Black ink, since I will be doing some Copic coloring. So I'm going to try to line that up. Okay, so now I'm going to be stamping this tree, but I'm going to do some masking for that. So I'm going to use these pieces of washi tape, or maybe I'm just going to use a new one. And I'm going to mask off the main piece of the tree, so I can just ink up the trunk using Memento Rich Cocoa ink. I'm going to remove that piece of washi tape, and I'm just going to stamp that image. I'm going to be doing the opposite. I'm going to use some washi tape to cover up the trunk, and then I'm going to ink up the main piece of the tree using some Feel Greens ink from Hero Arts. And then I can line this up perfectly. So now I'm going to be Copic coloring these images. So I'm going to speed up this part a little bit, and I will link to all of the markers that I use in the video description below. I'm going to be doing some embossing using the Starry Backdrops stamp set from Fawn. I'm going to stamp this beautiful starry background using Versamark ink on a piece of Tim Holtz Distress watercolor cardstock. So I'm just going to stamp this twice. And I'm using my Fisker stamp press to stamp these stars, since this is such a large stamp. So now I'm going to ink up my stamp again, and I'm just going to stamp it above the first row of stars. So now I'm going to sprinkle these stars using my favorite white embossing powder. This is the opaque bright white embossing powder from Wow. So I'm going to sprinkle the entire piece of paper using this embossing powder. Okay, so now I'm going to use my tweezers to hold a piece of paper so I can easily heat set the stars. So I'm just going to use my heat tool to melt the embossing powder. So I embossed that beautiful starry background, and now I'm going to be doing one of my favorite techniques. I'm going to do some watercoloring. So today I am using the Cure Take Gonzai watercolor set, and this is the box of 36 colors. I'm just going to pick out some paints that I'm going to use for my project. I picked out the colors that I will be using. I'm going to use the number 35, number 95, 139, 10, 61, and 50. Almost every single color with some white paint, since I want some lighter touches this time. But first I'm going to use some water and spread it on the whole paper so that it's wet and that the colors will blend very easily. There we go. I'm going in with the first color. I'm going to use the pink, and I'm going to put it on my work surface. It looks like red when you put it on the craft sheet, but it will be pink when you mix it with the white paint. So I'm just going to bring in some of that white. And there we go. And then I'm just going to randomly spread that color. I'm going in with some purple. So this purple is very dark, so I really need to mix it with some white paint if I would like to have a more soft look. So I'm going in with the white paint again. So now I'm going to create a mint shade. So I'm taking this pool color, going to put it on my work surface as well, and then I'm going to bring in quite a lot of that white paint. So first I'm just going to add some more water. Okay, so now I'm going in with the white. See, and then you will end up with this gorgeous mint shade, and I'm going to add it over here. And then last but not least, I'm going in with the bluish color. This is like an ice blue. And I'm going to mix it with just a tiny amount of white paint, since this is quite a light color. Okay, so now I'm also going to use this pearlescent color. You could also use perfect pearls if you would like to. Going to mix it with quite a lot of water, and then I'm just going to dab my brush to create some splatters. There we go. Okay, I adhered the watercolor piece onto a standard size A2 note card, and I also embossed a greeting from the Snow Day stamp set from Fawn on some vellum using sparkling silver embossing powder from Wow. Now this is an older version of the embossing powder, so I'm going to link to the newest version. The embossing powder is completely the same, but it just has a different name, so that's the only difference. I'm going to adhere the cute little bird and bunny scene onto the card using some foam adhesive. So I'm just going to add a couple of foam squares underneath. Okay, so now I'm going to adhere the vellum banner. So I'm going to put a couple of Tomo Mono multi-glue dots underneath the vellum. So I'm going to put this on these embossed letters. Like this. Then I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive underneath this piece of vellum as well. I quickly adhere the mix of Pretty Pink Posh sequins on my card. I use the 4 and 6 mm aquamarine, sparkling clear, and pink peony sequins from Pretty Pink Posh. So that finishes up the card for day 2 of Holly Jolly Card Series 2014. Be sure to visit my blog for a chance to win a stamp set and a 6x6 paper pad of your choice from Fawn. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back next week.